Ooh, hello, sir. Hello, you guys. It is Lily. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. So today I have my second trimester recap video. I made my first trimester recap, I think that was the first video I posted after I posted that I was pregnant. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave it linked right here. I have just been keeping a record of what I've been feeling, how I've been feeling throughout the weeks. Let's just get into this video. I get out of breath so easily, so I'm going to be catching my breath every 5 seconds. But when I am filming this video, I am 29 weeks. I'm 29 weeks when you see this video too, because I'm filming it the day before I post it. The first trimester is weeks 0 to 12, and then the second trimester is weeks 13 to 27. I didn't even know the weeks of the trimesters before I got pregnant, which I've researched so much about pregnancy, and that was like the one thing I didn't know. But yeah, 27 weeks is the last week of the second trimester. All right, 13 weeks, let's see. I was still very nauseous in the morning. The moment I woke up, I would have to eat something immediately, or else I would just feel nauseous the whole day. I said here, 13 weeks in one day, I was just nauseous the whole day in general for some reason. Going through the whole second trimester, the first trimester is horrendous, honestly. I understand why women say the first trimester sucks, but honestly going through it, in that video that I posted about my first trimester recap, it's really not that bad, but compared to the second trimester, it is horrible. I will just have to say, second trimester is literally the best, and I feel like every woman will say that. 13 weeks, still nauseous, but I did have more motivation to cook and bake, which was a huge thing. My first trimester, I really didn't cook or bake at all. And I think that was the biggest thing that made me feel not like myself in the first trimester, was just my energy was so low. But not only that my food aversion was so bad that the thought of cooking food or baking was just nauseating to me, so I just didn't do it. And thankfully, my husband was just so nice and gave me so much grace, because we basically just ate frozen meals and stuff like that for a few weeks while I was in the thick of my first trimester. So getting back to cooking, and when I finally got more energy back, really made me feel so much more like myself. At 13 weeks, there was more noticeable uterus stretching, around ligament pain. My stomach was starting to feel tighter at that point, but I still wasn't really showing at all. I had a tiny little bump, which is the crazy thing about pregnancy, is that your belly grows so quick, because for 12, 13 weeks, even up until 16 weeks, 17 weeks, you're really not seeing much of a change. And I didn't have to start wearing maternity clothes until, I don't even think I said it on here, but I think weeks 21, after 20 weeks, definitely I didn't have, that's when I started wearing maternity stuff. I was wearing a couple maternity things, but I probably didn't have to. I was still able to fit into my workout leggings and stretchy stuff, but now pant wise I can't even fit into anything that's not maternity. And if I try to fit into it, it makes me not feel good, because it's just compressing and it's just not comfortable. Yeah, but at 13 weeks I definitely was starting to feel more stretching. Honestly, the craziest thing about pregnancy is that throughout the whole pregnancy so far, I've always had some sort of discomfort in the uterus, or just down there, which now is not concerning or weird, but I've realized that literally every single week, there's always something but it's normal. It's not anything bad, but it is 1,000 times better than a period. I will say that. I will say this over and over again. I love being pregnant because I don't have my period, and I will take 9 months of no period any day, and I'll take, you know, 9 months of some uterus stretching and cramping and all that kind of stuff over a period any day, because I have horrible periods. So I didn't say anything for week 14. Week 15, I was still nauseous in the morning, starting to feel uncomfortable in the belly area, again, like more stretching. Couldn't get up. So this week I started like noticing that I couldn't get up super fast, or else I would get like round ligament pain. So that's like meaning like getting up from a chair or from the couch or anything like that. It was so normal to me to just, you know, get up. But like getting up too fast, like I could feel like a stretching, like it basically feels like you pull a muscle in like your uterus or your like, yeah, down there. It's such a weird feeling. I still like didn't really have a huge bump at that point. So to start feeling that just like while I'm standing or just getting up was interesting. Okay, this is hilarious, and I still deal with this actually, but week 15, it says, in the morning when I'm nauseous and I cough, it triggers me to want to throw up. Like, so brushing my teeth causes the same thing, or like I get like phlegm in the morning, especially like with the seasons changing and stuff like that. Like I get really phlegmy, and when I like try to like cough it up and stuff like that, it like triggers my gag reflex and it makes me want to like throw up. It's so weird. And so like even brushing my teeth, like brushing my tongue, I have this like tongue scraper that I use. I can't do it super hard because I will literally like gag myself and then want to throw up. So I don't know if that's normal in pregnancy or if that's just like me. But yeah, I mean, I've always like had kind of a gag reflex, but I feel like it's way more noticeable being pregnant for some reason. Week 15, it made me nauseous. It doesn't really make me nauseous now. It just makes me like gag and then I need to like catch my breath. I don't know if I mentioned this in my first trimester recap, but I struggled a lot with headaches in the first trimester and still in like the second trimester. I was having really bad headaches, especially when I wasn't drinking enough water or staying hydrated. That was something that I really had to prioritize, was drinking water. So I have, well, this is my Stanley, but I also have another 40-ounce cup that I use. I just like switch back and forth, and I try to drink 2 of these, which is 80 ounces a day, and I could be drinking more, honestly, but I really try to stay hydrated, especially in the summer. Since it's been summer for all of my second trimester, staying hydrated has been like a huge thing for me that I need to like stay on top of. I don't know if I mentioned this in my first trimester recap, but the prenatals I was taking, I feel like I've mentioned them in previous videos, but I don't take like a regular prenatal, which I'm actually really happy I decided not to, because I have heard that prenatals make women so sick and nauseous, and like it's so hard for them to take. So I'm really happy that I decided not to take prenatals, because my vitamins have never made me sick, never made me nauseous. I've always been able to take them. I've taken them every single day of my pregnancy except for like 2 days, I think. But I take raw beef liver capsules, and I was taking folate, but then I started taking a iron supplement because my midwife just wanted me to get some extra iron in. So I've been taking an iron supplement which has folate in it, and then I've been taking vitamin D because I was super low in vitamin D, which I've been bad because I haven't been like being outside a lot. I think that's everything. Yeah, that's all that I take. So yeah, headaches, every time I get one, it's usually because of dehydration. So really staying on top of being hydrated. Didn't put anything for week 16. Week 17, it says, finally not nauseous right after I wake up, though if I wait a while to eat, I still get nauseous, which is still true, actually. Skin is looking amazing. Literally, guys, I don't know if you can tell, my skin has never been better. I think the last time my skin was this good was honestly before I like hit puberty. My skin has been amazing this whole pregnancy, and I don't want it to end. I am like hoping and praying that after this baby is born, my skin stays clear. I'm hoping for the best. I'm not really gonna be surprised if it isn't good after my pregnancy, but I think it's just the hormones and everything are like, everything's balanced right now. So yeah. The pregnancy glow is real for me, and I'm very thankful because I know some women struggle with acne in pregnancy. So I did have some breakouts in the first trimester, but ever since getting in the second trimester, my skin has been so good. I've had like a few breakouts here and there, like every once in a while, but other than that, my skin has been so good. Week 17, I was really starting to notice uncomfortability within my stomach. Fast movements like getting up from the couch, stuff like that, would lead to round ligament pain that feel like my muscle being stretched in my stomach. At week 17, I was really starting to notice a bump, still easy to hide and cover and not having to wear solely maternity yet. Still was probably able to wear like my workout leggings, still able to hide it with shirts and with dresses, which I still can now, depending on how loose fitting something is, and a lot more tightness in my stomach, and I can now feel where the baby is, but no movement. I don't know what that means. I can now feel where the baby is. Maybe like not like externally feel it, but maybe inwardly feel it. I don't know, but no movement yet at week 17. Week 18, nausea is pretty much gone. I swear I was feeling little kicks and movements. It feels like muscle spasms, but happens frequently in the same place right near my belly button, which are called quickening. That's like the first movements that you feel from a baby. It's called quickening, flutters, whatever. So week 18 is like when I first started noticing it. The best way I can describe it was like little muscle spasms, but in the same place frequently. So like obviously like you get, a muscle spasm that you get in your leg, like not an uncomfortable one, but like, or even like your arm, when your arm like twitches or like a muscle like twitches, that's kind of what it felt like in my stomach, but in the same place frequently. So I was like realizing that's probably the baby. So yeah, week 19, day 2, felt really strong kicks while laying down on back after hearing heartbeat, teared up, so beautiful. So I actually remember this day. So on week 19, it was on a Sunday. We just got back from church, and usually on Sundays I would listen to my Doppler. Honestly, that was like the best thing that I had for like my first trimester and like going into my second trimester before I could feel movement, because it made me feel connected to the baby and like made me actually realize that there's a baby in there without feeling anything. And so I always like to do it just once a week on Sundays. So I was laying on my back and I was talking to the baby. Jack was, I think he was there with me. Yeah, I had my hand just like on my like belly button. Still at this point didn't really have a bump maybe like a little one. My hand was just over my belly button and I heard the heartbeat, and then like literally right after I stopped using the Doppler, I felt like a kick on my hand. And that was like the first time I really like felt it actually, and it was so cool. I loved that. Like there was no denying that was an actual kick from a baby. It wasn't gas. And I was thinking, because ever since I felt that on week 19, that he was having hiccups, because whenever I'd feel movement, it would be like pretty consistent, like every couple seconds, and then it would stop after a little bit. Those were like the first movements that I felt were hiccups actually. I really didn't feel like kicking at first. I had a midwife appointment at week 19, literally right as she was going to go in with the Doppler to hear his heartbeat. I started feeling the feeling again, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think he's hiccuping. This is like what I've been feeling, but but I don't know if it's hiccups or not. And she was like, why do you doubt yourself? Like, it probably is. And so we went on the, you know, she listened to the heartbeat, and it was hiccups, and you could actually hear it on the Doppler, because when they have a hiccup, it goes like on the Doppler. So that was like really cool that I like had an intuition that he was hiccuping, but I didn't know for sure or not, and that it was confirmed. That was like really cool. So my first mom intuition there. And then week 20 was my 20-week ultrasound. So that was a great week. That was the only thing I wrote down for that week, but we could not have asked for a better ultrasound. So at week 20, I didn't know this, but everything is basically developed. So all the core things are developed, and so that basically after 20 weeks, it's just like adding fat, adding weight, and all that kind of stuff, and things still developing. But they looked at everything, and they just were very, very happy with what they saw. I went to like an ultrasound place, so I actually vlogged that day, so I'll leave that linked. So I explained more in that video, but yeah, it was just a really great day. And then also, that was the day that gender was determined, but we did not know the gender that day because we had our gender reveal party like 3 weeks later. So that was really crazy that the gender was confirmed that day, but we didn't know what it was. So, okay, I guess weeks 20 through 22, I was really starting to feel baby move. Even at that 20-week ultrasound, I was really feeling him move while they had the ultrasound like thing on me. Babies don't really like when they have ultrasounds done or Dopplers, because they can actually sense like the radioactive energy or whatever, and so they usually squirm and move around. And so I was really feeling him move at that 20-week ultrasound. So yeah, basically after like 18 weeks, I was like every single day after that, like I was starting to feel movement more and more. By week 22, it was very noticeable, and I could detect hiccups versus kicking, which was cool. Sorry, I'm scratching my leg. Finally, like realizing what movements were versus like hiccuping, because you know, when you first start feeling anything in there, it all feels like weird and like you don't know what is what. So yeah, by weeks 22, I was noticing the difference. Oh my gosh. So I don't know exactly the week that this started, but Charlie horses. So I never experienced Charlie horses before getting pregnant. I never had leg cramps. I didn't really play sports growing up, so those weren't really like a thing that I had experienced. But I had heard that some people get Charlie horses, very common in pregnancy, and they always happen in my calf. And so I don't know when the first one was, but I started getting them in the second trimester pretty early on, and they are so painful. Oh my gosh. I thought I was gonna have to cut my leg off. And they happen in the middle of the night. So basically it's like, if you've ever had, I can't even explain a Charlie horse. Hopefully you've had one so you can understand what I'm saying, but like, it's just like this intense tightening of your calf, and then it basically feels like you worked out your calf, and it's so sore afterwards. I had a couple that made my calf so sore for like days. And yeah, they happen in the middle of the night when like I'm stretching in the middle of the night, which is weird. I don't know why I'm stretching my leg in the middle of the night, but yeah, that will like trigger it. So what has helped is stretching my calves before bed. So I use like a little, it's a workout band basically. Yeah, stretchy workout band. And I just stretch my calves before going to bed. And then I also, I take magnesium. I also take that as a vitamin as well. So I didn't mention that, but I take magnesium, and magnesium is supposed to help too. My midwife did suggest putting magnesium lotion on my calves before going to bed, but I just didn't buy that. But ever since stretching them and taking magnesium at night, I haven't been getting them as frequently. I thought I was gonna get get one this morning at like 6 a.m. but I had to go pee. So like the moment that I felt it like kind of coming on, I just got up and I was like, no, and I kind of stopped it. I don't know if I was gonna get one or not, but yeah. Also, I don't know when also that started happening, was having to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and like really feeling my bladder start to be smaller and smaller. At week 20, actually, the sonographer was like, do you have to go pee? Because the baby's like right on your bladder. And I was like, yes, I do. And that made so much more sense after like week 20, because his head has like, he's always been head down. So ever since having that 20-week ultrasound and realizing that he's head down, like, and literally I saw the ultrasound of him, like, okay, this is my like bladder and this was like his head. So it was so close. And then of course, if my bladder is like a little full, like his head's like right there. So I'm having to go to the bathroom a lot, which I did not experience that in my first trimester. That was never a symptom of pregnancy for me. So yeah, I usually have to get up just once in the middle of the night. Sometimes it's like early in the night. Sometimes it's like really like when I'm about to wake up, like 6 a.m. So thankfully I don't have to get up more than that, but I'm sure that as the weeks go on, getting closer to him being born, I'll maybe have to get up more than that, but I do try to go to the bathroom like a couple times before going to bed. That is definitely noticeable. That's a weird sensation, feeling something on your bladder and it pressing down. So week 20 through 22, and my appetite started increasing, but meals had to be smaller. So I didn't say when my food aversion went away. I really think like by when my nausea stopped. So like even like really the beginning of the second trimester, I stopped having food aversion, or like I could tolerate a lot more food. I forget when I started eating meat again. I should have recorded that, but I would say around probably like 15 weeks, I could like eat pretty much everything at that point. But yeah, like weeks 20, probably even before that, my appetite really started increasing more. Food started tasting and sounding a lot better, but the meals had to be smaller. I could not eat huge portions, which before getting pregnant, I was eating like, I could just sit down to a meal and eat that and then be satisfied for like 4 or 5 hours. But being pregnant, I can't do that anymore, especially now. Like I have to eat frequent small meals, like, and physically I have to. Like, it's so weird having a smaller appetite now, because as I said, like I could eat big meals, but now I can't. I eat half the portions that I could eat before, but it's also because the baby's taking up so much room and my stomach is like squished. Week 23. Okay, so this is funny. I started using a lotion in my first trimester that was new. So I started using it, you know, when I was having food aversion, when I was feeling nauseous. And so when I ran out of that by like the end of my first trimester, beginning of my second trimester, I started using a different lotion. And then I didn't like that lotion. So I went back to the lotion that I started using in my first trimester. And I was listening to music that I was listening to in my first trimester, putting on my lotion, and it like took me back to my first trimester. And I was like, nope, but I still use that lotion. It's just like weird, like things can trigger me remembering my first trimester. Like I was door dashing in my first trimester when I was like really having bad food aversion. And there was this one grocery store specifically that I would go to DoorDash at, and then this other place that I would go to DoorDash. And I cannot go to those places. Like, I don't want to go to them because they will literally remind me of my first trimester. And I feel like that's not uncommon for women. So yeah, that was weird. Week 23, really feeling baby on the bladder. There will be times where I literally have to go pee so bad and then it goes away. That is so weird. A lot of times, like now that I can feel him move a lot, he's moving so much right now. When he's moving, I can feel him like his head, like kind of going up and down on my bladder, which is so weird. Like I feel his feet up here, and then like 5 seconds later I feel like I have to go pee so bad, and then it lasts like a couple seconds, and then I'm like, oh, I actually don't have to pee. But that, oh my gosh, I guess like week 23, I just went to the bathroom, and then I just remember like walking wherever I was walking to and literally feeling like I had to go to the bathroom at that exact moment, or else I was gonna pee all over the place. but I literally had just left the bathroom. So that is so weird, such a weird feeling. And I'm not sure really when I started feeling Braxton Hicks contractions, but I definitely have been. As I said, my whole pregnancy, I've been feeling things all the time, you know, uterus expanding, things tightening, things moving, all this kind of stuff. So I can't really detect when my first Braxton Hicks was, because I've had so many things happen down there that I don't really remember. But Braxton Hicks are super weird and I like them. I know, you're like, what? The reason why I like them is because, you know, I'm planning on doing a natural labor and delivery, a home birth, and I love it because they're practice contractions. And so whenever I get them, as long as I'm not really like doing anything important or like, you know, whatever, breathing through them, using my breathing techniques, even trying to, like, if I can, do some positions like squatting positions or whatever that you would do while you're in labor. They're not super uncomfortable or painful at this point, but they're definitely starting to get like more, I would say, like noticeable and intense. But it's the weirdest feeling and literally can't describe it unless you've been through like pregnancy. It's so weird feeling my stomach get like rock hard. It is the weirdest thing ever. And honestly, to me, it doesn't feel like my period cramps. Because I guess I know so much about labor and birth that I just know like it's just my uterus contracting. It's not painful to me, it's just a lot of pressure. Whereas my period cramps are painful. They're like stabbing pain. And so I have been having some cramping actually. Today I actually had some. I've been experiencing a little bit of cramping here and there, but that's also normal. But that's really weird because they do feel like period cramps, but they're not Braxton Hicks. They have to do with the uterus stretching and growing and stuff like that. And yeah, but they do feel almost identical to period cramps, at least in my body. And it's weird because that sensation I attribute to like bleeding. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, am I bleeding? And then I go to the bathroom and I'm not bleeding at all. So that at least gives me peace of mind as long as I'm not bleeding. But yeah, it's like I correlate those feelings with blood. So thankfully I had no bleeding or anything like that. So thankful for that. So week 24 through 26 didn't really specify when these things happen, but baby's kicking so hard. Again, hiccups versus kicks are easy to detect. Breathing is definitely getting harder. Sitting down, sometimes I can't breathe, which is a weird feeling. So I've been working a lot on my posture, honestly, ever since like the beginning of my second trimester. Even in my first trimester, I was having some bad like back pain. And so I've really been trying to work on my posture, and that has helped tremendously. If you experience a lot of uncomfortability, whatever, and you're pregnant, like try really fixing your posture. I actually inherited my family's medicine ball, and so I've been sitting on that a lot more than just like a regular chair, really keeping my hips like level with my legs, not slouching. But the weirdest thing is like if I'm slouching like this or on the couch, it's like actually hard to breathe. It's so weird. Like I feel like my stomach is all the way to my neck. But like here's my bra, right? And like my uterus is like right here. Like it gets big. It starts to like get a bump like right here. So it's just super uncomfortable to sit in like a slouching way. So I really have to sit properly, or laying on my side is always good. Love laying on my side. I've been having a pillow in between my legs for like, I started in my first trimester. That's been like the best thing because it levels out your hips. 10 out of 10 recommend sleeping with a pillow in between your legs at night. And then as I was getting bigger, I switched to a longer pillow, and it kept my hips level, but then also my like feet getting more tired at night. But energy from like weeks, I would even say like weeks 15 to weeks like 26, 25, like energy was so good. Now that I'm definitely getting bigger, it's definitely getting harder for me to do just activities. walking upstairs, stuff like that is tiring. Now that I'm in my 3rd trimester, my energy has like depleted significantly, but it's still way better than the 1st trimester because no food aversion. I'm telling you, food aversion killed me. So the fact that I still love food, but I'm just hungry all the time now, I will take it. But yeah, food, it's like clockwork to me. I have to eat every 2 hours. I'm starving every 2 hours. It's crazy, but I still have been eating very healthy. I try to just have very healthy snacks on hand. And then also still eating 3 meals a day. So I still eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then in between that, just snack because I get really hungry really quickly. I literally just ate before I started this video and I'm like really hungry right now. I can feel the baby kicking on the inside of my body, which is on the outside of my body, which is crazy. So yeah, I guess like weeks 24 through 27, he's just been getting bigger and bigger. And so, oh, in week 23, we found out what gender he was. I need to put that in there. He's a boy. Feeling the baby kick on the outside, it's just the most amazing thing. I love feeling his little like feet. I think that's his feet. Like sometimes it can be up here, sometimes it can be on the sides. That's really weird that like he's so like getting so much bigger now that he's on the side of the body now. So that feels really weird. But yeah, I feel his body on like with my hand. It's so cool. He can detect my husband's voice. Now babies can hear like deep voices more than high-pitched voices, so it's easier for them to detect male voices. So he can hear those sounds like very well. So he can hear Jack's voice, he can hear just like men's voices, music. He moves a lot to like just loud sounds. Water is really weird. He like freaks out when there's water. When I'm like doing dishes, when I'm taking a shower, he like goes crazy. That's really funny. I need to put that in here. But yeah, he like gets so weird when there's water running. Has anyone else noticed that if they're pregnant? And then week 27, last week of pregnancy, or 2nd trimester, I had an appointment with my midwife and I got my hemoglobin and blood pressure tested. Blood pressure has always been really good, so I'm very, very, very thankful for that. And then my hemoglobin was pretty good as well. She just wants me to have a little bit extra iron in my diet. So this is really weird. So I've been feeling him have spastic movements, and they honestly kind of at first were feeling like he was having like a seizure in my stomach. It was kind of scaring me because it was happening like every day. So I, of course, Googled it, and I realized that they actually start getting the mono reflex in the womb. So that's like when newborn babies, you know, just come out the womb, they have those reflexes where if there's like a loud sound or something like that, they go like this. And that actually happens in the womb. And so it's a very weird feeling. Like it literally feels like he's like running or like freaking out in my stomach. So it was really concerning me, but knowing that everything was good at my 20-week ultrasound and everything like that, like I'm not concerned. If I don't eat for a long time and then eat my first couple bites, I'm very nauseous, which has happened my whole pregnancy. But yeah, like right when I wake up, and then if I eat just like a little bit, something very light, I usually go to the gym, and then when I come back, I eat like a pretty like decent breakfast, and like my first couple bites I get nauseous, which is really weird, but I never throw up or anything. It's just like very weird. So I'm still having some nausea when I'm eating, but that's the only time I'm nauseous is like then. But yeah, if I don't eat consistently, energy is super, super low. So that's why I have to continue to eat and like force myself to eat, because my energy, like it really, really gets affected if I don't eat. And just even when I do eat, my energy has been just low in general. And I said before, my stomach is getting smaller and smaller and I can't eat big meals. So, all right, well, I feel like that covered a lot, and this was way longer than I actually thought. I thought this was gonna be like 10 minutes. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me give you a bump shot real quick. But here is the bump. Sorry about the stuff in the background. But yeah, super bumpy, very big, and I have the little line, but it's very faint. I don't have any stretch marks because I have been applying lotion and oil on my belly ever since I got pregnant. I always felt like he was low, so I don't know if you can tell, if you think he's low or not. Okay, my battery just died. So thank you guys for watching. Please like this video, subscribe if you have not already, and make sure to follow me on my Instagram. I post a lot more on there. And yeah, I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.